Hello there and welcome. Today, we're going to do something really practical. We're going to build a communication toolkit. Think of it like adding 20 new specialized tools to your workshop that will help you express your ideas with way more clarity and impact. Ready to get started? Let's dive in. You know that feeling, right? When a word is right there on the tip of your tongue, but you just can't quite grab it. So you end up using a word that's close, but not quite right, and your meaning gets a little fuzzy. Well, this whole session is designed to fix that, to give you the exact tool for the job. So first up, we're going to look at words that help you build and describe the very structure of your thoughts and plans. You can think of these as the foundational words, kind of like the blueprints you need before you can start building anything. Let's start with a really useful one, informative. It's an adjective, and it simply describes something that gives you good, useful facts. You might walk out of a lecture and say, wow, that was a very informative talk. Now, it has a close cousin, instructive. They're similar, but instructive specifically teaches you how to do something. So a documentary about penguins might be informative, but the manual for your new coffee machine, that's instructive. See the difference? Okay, now let's talk about the bones of an idea. We've got 3 great words for this. First, skeleton. This refers to the absolute most essential structure, like the skeleton of an argument. Then you have an outline. This is more like a summary of the main points, like an outline for an essay. And finally, there's format. This is a specific, preset way of arranging things, like the format for a business letter. They all talk about the core structure, just at slightly different levels of detail. So after you have the bones, you need to know what it's made of, right? The parts of the whole. An element is usually a fundamental, maybe abstract part. For example, trust is a key element of any relationship. A component, on the other hand, is usually a physical or technical part of a bigger system, like a component in a car engine. And then there's ingredient, which we use for food, of course, but we can also use it metaphorically, like hard work is the secret ingredient to success. Ooh, now this is a fantastic word for adding precision. You could say 2 things are distinct, which just means you can tell them apart. The 2 brothers have distinct personalities. But if those personalities are fundamentally completely different from each other, you'd say they have disparate personalities. Disparate tells your listener the difference isn't small, it's huge. Think about trying to bring together disparate groups for negotiation. That one word tells you just how big of a challenge it is. All right, we've got our structure down. Now let's talk about words that actually get things moving, or, stop them dead in their tracks. This section is all about action and setting limits. Here we have a classic pair of opposites. To kick off something means to get it started, usually an event or a meeting. It's got this great energetic feel to it, right? Let's kick off the weekend with some music. The total opposite is to call off something, which means to cancel it completely. They had to call off the wedding because of the storm. So you kick off to start and you call off to stop. Simple as that. Now, these 2 are often confused, but the difference is so important. To let go is an internal thing. It's about releasing something you're holding on to inside, like old anger or a painful memory. To move on is the external action that comes after. It's about accepting that things have changed and you're ready for what's next. A lot of the time, you actually have to let go of something first before you can truly move on. To face off. You can almost picture it, can't you? It means to get into a direct, head-to-head confrontation. It's a really vivid phrase you hear all the time in sports or politics. The 2 rivals will face off in the final match. It's in the same family as words like confront and oppose, but face off just sounds way more dramatic, like a big, decisive moment is about to happen. Okay, here are 3 quick but really useful action words. First, dispense. This just means to give something out or provide it. A soda machine dispenses drinks. A pharmacist dispenses medicine. Next up, reproduce. This can mean making a copy of something, like on a printer, or in biology, it means to multiply, to create offspring. And finally, retail. This is simply the act of selling stuff directly to customers. That's why we talk about the retail industry. And now for our final section, we're going to shift gears a bit. We've talked about ideas and actions, so now let's get a little more personal and look at words that help us describe people, feelings, and just the whole human experience. This is a perfect way to see how word families work. It's like getting 2 words for the price of 1. Fragile is the adjective. It describes something that can be broken easily. Be careful, that vase is very fragile. The noun form is fragility. That refers to the quality of being easily broken. You could say, because of its fragility, we have to ship it in a special box. Knowing both lets you express the same idea in different ways. It's super flexible. Let's look at another example, this time with a feeling. Admire is the verb. It's the action of respecting or looking up to someone. I really admire your honesty. The noun is admiration. That's the feeling of respect itself. My admiration for her work has only grown over the years. So again, you have the action and you have the feeling itself. Two great tools to have. Okay, this is a very specific and very powerful word. A narcissist isn't just someone who's a little bit selfish. It describes a person with an extreme, over-the-top obsession with themselves. The adjective form is narcissistic. So you can say he is a narcissist, or you can describe his comments as narcissistic. It's a much stronger and more precise word than just saying somebody is selfish. Let's just run through a quick list of words for different feelings and states of being. You might feel restless when you're anxious and just can't sit still. Being respectful means showing politeness and consideration. A smell that makes you hungry can be described as mouth-watering. A boundary is a personal limit you set with other people. And feeling lost, well, that's that common feeling of confusion after a big life event. Each one paints a very specific picture, right? So, there we have it. We've reached the end of our little construction project. We've added some seriously powerful new tools to your communication toolkit to help you structure ideas, describe actions, and talk about feelings with so much more precision. Just think about it. We've covered words that act as the skeleton for your thoughts, verbs that get things started and stopped, and a whole bunch of nuanced vocabulary to really capture all the complexities of what it means to be human. You are definitely better equipped now to communicate exactly what you mean. I want to end with this fantastic quote from Mark Twain. He said, "The difference between the right word and the almost right word is the difference between lightning and a lightning bug." I just love that. It perfectly captures why having a precise vocabulary is so important. It's not about sounding smart. It's about making sure your ideas land with power and total clarity. And that really just leaves us with one final question. What are you going to build with your new words? Now that you have these tools, what ideas will you shape? What stories will you tell? What connections will you make? My advice? Go out there and start building. Thanks so much for joining me.